So Tallinn is the capital of Estonia. The way it's set up is there's an area that's on the west of Tallinn. It's called Nõmme. That's primarily homes, houses, and that's one of the areas for elders. And then there's like the main city, and it's got a few apartment buildings, mostly like grocery stores and things like that. But there is living there, bigger apartment buildings. And then on the east side is where a lot of the Russian-speaking people are in Tallinn. So Tallinn has about 500,000 people in it. Estonia in whole has about 1.5 million. So a bulk of the people are in Tallinn. And the area on the east side is where the Russian-speaking area is. And it is the Soviet apartment buildings, very, very tall and just close together. A lot of that, very, very compact. A typical day for Estonians is they all go to the grocery store every day. So it was kind of funny when we would go on P-days and get food for an entire week. We would get funny looks, like carrying 4 or 5 bags each. But they would go every day and just get the food for the day. So often you see people just going to and from the grocery store. That's probably one of the most common things you'd see when you're going out and talking to people. As far as occupations, there's a lot of people that go out and go into the woods and they chop wood. That's a pretty common occupation among the men. Construction is a big one. Other than that, it's pretty typical. And most of the women work in like the banks and in grocery stores and things like that, and the men are out doing construction and more of the manual labor stuff. Yeah, getting around, the bus system is really, really good. So we take buses everywhere. Every once in a while, if you're late somewhere, you can take a taxi. So taxis are plentiful. But primarily the bus system. I mean, taking buses, and you get the bus routes memorized and do that. There's grocery stores pretty frequently. So most of the time you'll have a grocery store that's close enough, and we would just walk to the grocery store and buy groceries there. There's 2 really big grocery stores. One of them was Selver, and I can't remember the other one. But that's, yeah, just pretty typical grocery shopping. Getting there, sometimes you would take the bus. Most of the time it's close enough that you can just walk from your apartment to the grocery store and back. And crime and safety. As far as crime, there's not a whole lot. Typically Estonians aren't very biased against Americans. I know in some countries that's an issue, but in Estonia it's not an issue. And Estonians are very peaceful people. They don't typically raise any troubles or anything, especially with missionaries. I never really felt like I was in danger as a missionary there. So it's very, very safe, and there's not very much crime as far as I knew.